there, welcome back to another week's episode of the Retro Premier League show. Last time you'll see in our mini-series of the greatest foreigners ever to play in the Premier League and not finish in the top four, we had the goalkeeper, who you all voted for, was Neville Southall as the greatest foreign goalkeeper, I say foreign, not English, goalkeeper to play in the Premier League and never finish in the top four. Natural progression then. This week we're covering the defenders. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Tom to give us his first pick of the afternoon.
So my first pick is the Swedish rock in defence. He was at Aston Villa for 7 seasons, and his name is Olof Mellberg. He was a key fixture in the sort of David O'Leary, Martin O'Neill, sort of top 6 Aston Villa side that often came really high in the reckoning for Europa League. And this was in no small part due to Olof Mellberg's brilliance at the back. And it shows how good he was that after Aston Villa, when he was still quite an old player, he actually got a transfer to Juventus in 2008 as they were rebuilding into Serie A. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Yeah, it's mad to think that it was 11 years ago that he moved to Juventus now. I remember what a class act he was that on his last, I think it was his last home appearance at Villa Park, he bought Villa shirts for all the fans with, I think it was like Mellberg for thanks or something, or some kind of message on the back. And it just shows what a classy guy he was and how much he loved the club. And as you said, perhaps unlucky not to quite play for a top four side, perhaps never quite good enough. But as you said, to find his way into a Juventus side in no matter what division they're in, is pretty good going. But my first pick is a fellow Scandinavian in the Norwegian Brede Hangeland, who of course mainly played for Fulham in the Premier League, also had a couple of years at Crystal Palace at the end of his career. I believe he got linked with Manchester United once or twice during his time at Craven Cottage, an absolute rock at the back, and certainly a centre back that defenders would fear coming up against.
He was a brilliant player, Brady Hangeland. I mean, Roy Hodgson adores him. I think he's Roy Hodgson's son in all but name. And obviously, if the rules were the same as they are today, he'd have got within 1 game of Champions League qualification.
Yeah.
Playing in that Europa League final. I think 2009. Am I right to say?
Yes, or 10. I think it was 2010.
I mean, I loved that Fulham side in 2010. Obviously, beating Juventus in that memorable night. I think 3 goals down on aggregate or 4.
Crazy times at Fulham. When you think about where they are now, and obviously Hangeland a crucial part of that side.
And I think also just the fact that Hodgson's work there was completely undone by that poor stint at Liverpool. But nonetheless, I'll move on to my second choice. And he's a fellow Europa League fixture and Premier League favourite, a Spaniard from Bolton, Ivan Campo, crazy centre-half who played 141 games at Bolton, so it was by no means a sort of end-of-career move. But unlike every other player on this list, he's actually won the Champions League with Real Madrid and was a really fun player to watch in the Premiership. Again, perhaps unlucky not to be in the top 4 side, but has all the honours and glory of a distinguished player. And he made Sam Allardyce football look exciting.
Yeah.
And that's an honour in itself, in my opinion.
And he made the big hair famous before Marouane Fellaini did.
Yeah.
A very iconic image that he possessed. And I think I can't remember who it was against. There's one goal in particular that he scored. He rifles it, daisy cutter into the far corner from a long way out as well. Great player indeed. So I'm going from a Champions League winner to a World Cup runner-up in John Heitinger, of course. Anyone that remembers got sent off in the ill-fated 2010 World Cup final against Spain for the Netherlands. But spent about, I think it was about eight years in the Premier League, or thereabout anyway. He spent a significant portion of that at Everton, and then spent a little bit less at Fulham. But again, perhaps didn't quite show this defensive prowess in the Premier League. He spent a number of years at Ajax beforehand, and I think he actually returned to them afterwards too. And again, to be a crucial centre-back in a team that reaches the World Cup final, in regardless of what era we're playing in, we're talking about, then you're talking about a great defender, and that was John Heitinger. And I was actually shocked when he signed for Everton, because I remember hearing about him being in the Netherlands squads in the years preceding that. So to see him in the Everton squad under David Moyes, and I think it might have been eventually under Martinez too, top player.
Top player. Agreed. So these are our 4 choices, guys, and we'll put it on a poll on Twitter as to whether you're Team Melberg, Team Campo, Team Hangeland, or Team Heitinger. 4 really fun defenders. Although I wouldn't say that they were fun if you're a striker playing against them, mind. But get voting, guys. We'll put the YouTube clip of that incredible Campo goal in the description below. I've been Tom, you've been Josh, and thanks for watching.